Hey everybody, this is Troy with eBuzz Central. I bet you're wondering why I'm at a Windows 11 desktop. Well, today we're going to do a really in-depth video of things that you need to do if you're leaving Windows for Linux. But before we get started, please do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and follow my channel. Doesn't cost anything. And if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we're producing, you can support us by becoming a member to the channel, buying us a cup of coffee, or better yet, becoming a patron to the channel over on Patreon. Those links will be down below. First thing I want to discuss is software. If you are somebody that is handcuffed to Adobe Creative, no matter what program you use from Adobe, stick with Windows. Yes, there is Wine on Linux, and some people have success with it, but if Adobe is something you lean on for work and lean on extremely heavy for any kind of hobby, just stay away from Linux. Some people won't agree with that statement, but if you're used to doing things smoothly and easily and don't want to have to jump through hoops to make it work, that's my recommendation. Just stay where you are, because that's not going to work for you. Second, if you're somebody that plays online multiplayer games, gaming on Linux is definitely making leaps and bounds right now, but the only issue is competitive online. Anything that requires an anti-cheat at this time will not work on Linux. There are projects in place to get it working on Linux, but it's not perfect yet. And if you enjoy gaming and you enjoy the online part of gaming, stick with Windows for now. I will keep you updated in the future for when the anti-cheat is working properly on Linux, and then we can have another video about that. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't need the online part of gaming and you just like playing local games, having fun, then Linux is definitely an option for you. With Steam and their Proton, you can pretty much run most games right now equally, if not better than what they run in Windows. So that's just something to take into account when you're making your decision of leaving Windows for Linux. Now, having said that, 80% of the people that use Windows do nothing but check emails, surf the internet, and do basic tasks. What you need to do is sit down and find out exactly what apps and what software you use. You know, like down here, my main ones that I use are my file manager, my email, my web browser, OBS, Shotcut, VirtualBox, my snipping tool for screenshots and pictures, GIMP, and then OnlyOffice. Now, if you're using Microsoft Office, OnlyOffice is definitely an option to switch over. There's also LibreOffice. But just make a list of your applications, and then you can cross-reference those with different applications that run on Linux. OBS natively runs in Linux. Shotcut runs in Linux. VirtualBox runs in Linux. GIMP runs in Linux. OnlyOffice runs in Linux. So once you do that, once you sit there and go, okay, I can make the change because I understand there's other apps and software out there that I can do things with, that's when you got to make the choice of what operating system you want to go with. Now you can go over whether you've picked Ubuntu, whether you pick Linux Mint, whether you pick Manjaro, Fedora, whatever operating system you pick, you're going to want to go download it. So pick your operating system and download it. Once you have your operating system downloaded, I've got several different here that I've downloaded on my backup Windows machine. You're going to want to burn that to a USB or maybe open it in a VirtualBox, just so you can kind of give it a test drive to see how comfortable you are with it. I recommend that you put it on a USB for the simple fact that once you boot into it, you'll be able to check all your hardware, make sure everything's running the way it should be. Okay? So to do that, you're going to want to have a USB that is a minimum of 16 gigabytes, and you're going to want to run over and download Rufus. I will include this link down below. It's rufus.ie/en. It's a quick download. You just come over here, click Rufus 3.17. It'll download to your system. You open it up, double click it, it will install. And there it is. It's installed and opened. Okay, now that you have your ISO downloaded and you want to give it a shot, let's go ahead and plug in our USB stick. Up here, it shows that it's 16 gigabytes. There's no label. I'm not going to worry about that. Down here on boot selection, let's go ahead and pick out the ISO that we're going to use. And I'm going to go with Manjaro Budgie. Whatever yours may be, whether it be Ubuntu, Fedora, Linux Mint, whatever you've chosen to test drive, just pick it, go open. And it'll say that it's an ISO hybrid, but its creators have not made it compatible with ISO file copy mode. Don't worry about that, just click OK. And it'll let you know right there, there's your ISO, you've selected it, there's your USB stick, status down here is ready, and then just click Start. It'll give you a warning that all data on the USB will be wiped, which is fine, just click OK. And then it will start formatting and then writing the image to the USB. When it's done, I will get back with you. Okay, the flashing of the USB is complete. It took about 11 minutes and 47 seconds. Not too bad, actually. Now that that's finished, you got 2 more things to do. You need to do a search and find out what key you need to access your BIOS. When you restart your PC, do you hit F12, Escape, whatever it may be, you need that key. Also, you need the key that you need to press to get to the boot menu. That'll be probably F10, F12, something like that. Find those 2 keys. Restart your PC. Access your BIOS first. Go into your BIOS. Turn Secure Boot off. Disable it. Once you have done that, you're going to want to save and exit. When it restarts, at that point you hit your boot menu key, and that will bring up a boot menu. It'll show your hard drive. It'll show the USB you just burnt. Click onto the USB, and it will start booting into Linux. And if everything went smoothly, you should see a screen similar to this. Yours will be different based on the distribution that you used. But if they do give you an option to boot with open source or proprietary drivers, always choose open source, unless you're running an NVIDIA video card. If you are, go ahead and choose proprietary. But once you have that selected, just go ahead and hit enter. You'll see some scripts coming up on your page, and then it should open to a desktop. Depending on the OS you're test driving, this screen will look different for all of you. Some will say install or try. Just go ahead and click try. And then once it opens up, you'll be able to move around the operating system and kind of just take a look around. You can see what applications come installed. You can see Firefox as your internet, Thunderbird for mail. The one I picked, Manjaro Budgie, comes with OnlyOffice out of the box. And you can kind of just move around, open up your file manager. Compare it to what you're used to. If you want to adjust it, can I adjust this? Can I make it bigger? Can I make it work for me? Is it an operating system that I want to use? Go ahead and check out the web browser. When the web browser over, just go do some basic searches. See, this one comes with Google as its search engine. You can sign in over here if you would like to. Add and remove software. Let's open that up. If you do use Chrome, you can always use Chromium. It's the basis for Chrome, but it doesn't have all the advertising and telemetry and tracking junk inside of it. You can come over and look it up in your software center. So there's all the Chromium. You got extensions, you got everything you need. But that's if you want to stick with Chromium, especially if you're using Chrome. If you're using Edge, I would suggest to go ahead and switch over to Firefox, but I'm going to show you some steps you need to take before you make that change and before you leave Windows. So just go ahead, bounce around your operating system, make sure it's what you like. If it's not what you like, go download a different one, throw it on a USB, do your little distro hopping, and find what you want to use. Once you have that, we're going to go to the next steps. Okay, back to the Windows desktop. You've given your distribution a test drive. You found what distribution you want to use. Now comes the important part, making sure the information you have on your Windows PC carries over to your Linux install. First thing we're going to cover is your browser, okay? Most people have everything that they need in their browser. They've relied on it to protect them. They've relied on it to store their passwords, store access to other websites. But what if this web browser doesn't transfer over to Linux? Microsoft Edge is out of beta now, and you can use it on Linux. If that's something you want to do and it's going to ease your transition from Windows to Linux, I recommend go for it. But if you just don't like Microsoft Edge and you want to go a different route, I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Plus, keep all of that information that you have in that browser right now. So go ahead and let's zip on over and look up Firefox. And as you notice right off the bat, there's no need to download a new web browser. Let's go ahead and skip that. Download Firefox. And the download should begin shortly. And now we can open the file. So just go down to your folder. Go to Downloads. And let's install Firefox. This will take a second. So now you have Firefox installed on your machine. What you're going to want to do is go up to the hamburger menu, click on Open Application menu, and it'll say Sync and Save Data. Just sign in. Just go over and put your email in, and then enter a password. Now, if you don't have an account, when you sign in, it'll give you a little thing to fill out. Once you fill it out, it'll send you an email confirmation. Go ahead and click the email confirmation, and it'll open up. I have to enter a 6-digit code that's coming on my email. I've entered my code, and I'm good to go. Now I'm going to close out of that, and I like to make a few changes here, and you can make them here and also when you do this on Linux. What you're going to want to do is go to the hamburger menu, go to More Tools, go to Customize Toolbar. I don't want a title bar, but I do want the home button up here. I like to have a home button up there. It's down here. Just grab it, drag it, drop it, and then you're done. Close out of that, and then you can go to Home. And what you'll see here is it has some of my favorites listed down here. And if you got things down here that you don't want there, just unpin them, and they will disappear, or dismiss them. And you can see that I have a lot of things saved here because I use Firefox. But I'm going to show you a trick real quick. If you're brand new to Firefox, you won't have anything listed here, okay? As you use it, it will save them, or you can actually add things there if you would like to. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is hit Alt-F. Remember this, Alt-F. It'll bring up the menu bar over here. Scroll down and click on Import from another browser. It'll tell you to pick which browser you're wanting to import from. You click on it. You click Next. You want cookies, browsing history, saved logins and passwords, and favorites. And then you click Next. It will pull all of that information over to Firefox. Okay? So let's finish. Now, I'm going to show you how this works. So we're going to zip back on over into Linux real quick. Okay, so we're back into Linux. Let's go ahead and open up Firefox. And as you can see, Firefox has opened up. Let's go to the hamburger menu, click Sign In. I'm going to go ahead and sign in real quick. And I am signed in. First thing I'm going to do is the exact same thing I did over there, is go down to More Tools, Customize Toolbar, click the Home button, run it up top, go ahead and close, and then click Home. And as you can see, all of my bookmarks up here popped into place. Now, one thing, if you click Home, your browser might be preset to open to the home page of the operating system that you're using. So let's go ahead and go over here to the hamburger menu, go to Settings, Home. See right here, it's got manjaro.org. Just click on Customize URLs, go to Firefox Home, close, click Home, and there's what I was looking at just a while ago on Windows. These icons may take a little to upload, especially because I'm running in a virtual box, but all your icons will be there and you'll be good to go. Plus, you can add some if you want to. But everything is crossed over. Logins, passwords, bookmarks, getting started, everything is there. So if we zip back over real quick to Windows, you can see it's right there. Now this is a little bigger. If you like your screen bigger, you can of course adjust that in Linux. Let's zip back over. You can go down to Settings, General. If you want to make your zoom level a little bigger, just bump it up to 120. Close, refresh, and everything gets a little bigger. But everything has been transferred. You have all of your information saved from one browser into Firefox. Now, the beauty of this is the fact that Firefox doesn't track you. Firefox does have a little bit of telemetry for advertisers, but not to the extent that, say, an Edge or a Chrome does. But like I was saying earlier, if you live on Chrome and you have to have Google Chrome, you can use it in Linux, or you can use the open source version of it, which is Chromium, that comes without all the telemetry and without all the tracking. So let's zip back on over to the Windows desktop. Another thing I want to cover real quick, downloading software and applications. This is where a lot of people on Windows run into issues. I'm going to give you an example. Let's go ahead and open up Edge, and we're going to look for something like ClipGrab. If you don't know what ClipGrab is, it's a way to download videos from YouTube to your local machine so you can watch them. It's a free download. Let's go ahead and download it. And it'll start downloading here in a moment. And it is finished. So let's go ahead and minimize that. Zip on over to our downloads and double click on Clip Grab. Click yes. And watch very closely. Here's where people get click happy. Okay. Language is English. Go ahead and click OK. And it brings up Welcome to the Clip Grab installer. This is where people usually just hit next, accept. Don't hit anything. Award-winning RAV endpoint protection. Enterprise-grade protection for all personal devices. Most people just hit accept and move forward because they think it's a part of the download process, but what it's doing is it's installing other junk and crap on your system. People don't take the time to come over here and click decline. So they go hit accept, and then they're going to hit accept again, and you're going to have this AVG secure browser crap get installed on your computer, as opposed to taking that extra moment and clicking decline. And now it's installing without the crap. But most people click accept, 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 and the next thing you know, you've got two different things downloaded on your PC. It's slowing down, it's lagging, you've got extra junk showing up in your browser, and you don't know why. This is what happens when you don't have a centralized place to download apps and software from, which is where Linux is head and shoulders above Windows. Now this is done. I'm going to click Finish. We dodged 2 bullets there, but 80% of the people out there would hit accept, 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 and then they've got a bunch of junk on their computer, not to mention more things tracking you. That was downloading Clip Grab and how we avoided the bullet of having 2 extra things installed on our PC. Now let's zip back on over to Linux. Let's go up top. Let's go to Add and Remove Software. Let's move that in the center of the screen. And let's go ahead and do a search for Clip Grab. And there is Clip Grab. All you have to do here is click Download. There's one pending operation. You click Apply, and it's downloaded and installed on your machine without all the extra hoops to jump through, without having to worry about if you're going to get a bunch of junk installed on your PC. Linux is safe in that regard. It's more secure when you're downloading apps and software. So remember that. So let's close out of that and zip back on over to the Windows desktop. No matter what you might be looking for, no matter what you might be downloading, people run into that problem all the time. They're like, I don't know where this thing just popped up on my web browser. It's because you've downloaded something and accidentally installed something on your PC because you were just hitting click, OK, OK, accept, and moving forward. My parents have ran into that problem many a times. That's why I put Linux on their computers. They haven't had that issue since. My dad loves it. He's 70 years old and he can go out on the internet and do whatever he wants to do and have fun and not worry about his computer being bogged down with malware and viruses. So let's go ahead and close out of Edge. Then you come down bottom, you look at the apps that you have pinned. You can go over and check out your applications over here. Everything that you're using, you've already verified that you can do the same things in Linux. You're covered there. You've got your browser data transferred over. You're pretty much good to go to make the switch. Now, if there's little things you don't know about, like you come down here and you go, okay, Windows has got a snipping tool. What do I use on Linux? Let's zip back over there. On Linux, it's not going to be called snipping tool. It'll probably be something like screenshot. There's your screenshot. Let's open that up. And you can take a screenshot. You can either take the whole screen, a window, or maybe you want to select it like a snipping tool. Go ahead and take it. It'll highlight. You just go ahead and highlight what you want to snip. And there it is. You've taken the picture. You can save it to pictures or you can save it to downloads. You can adjust it, put it wherever you want to put it, and click save. Okay, so I can do that. So I've got the big things figured out. I've got the small things figured out. Let's sit back on over to Windows. Really what you're looking at this point in time is you've switched your browser data over, so you're protected there. Everything's going to transfer over to Linux. You've looked at all the applications that you use. Everything either works in Linux or there's an alternative in Linux, and you're not using Adobe products and you're not doing multiplayer online gaming. So you're good to go. All you got to do is make that decision. Is it time for me to leave Windows 10 or Windows 11 now? I can safely take the leap and cut Microsoft out of my life, get rid of the telemetry, get rid of the tracking, and get rid of me becoming an advertising ID number as opposed to a person. Plus, I'm going to own my operating system. What did you think of the video? Was it helpful? Let me know in the comments below. Please do me a favor before you leave today. Like, subscribe, or follow my channel. It doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we're producing, you can support us by becoming a member right here on eBuzz Central, buying us a cup of coffee, or better yet, becoming a patron to the channel over on Patreon. Those links will be in the description below. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.